Delhi Capitals, another game, another chase, and another chase against high-quality opponents. They beat Mumbai and Sharjah, and now they've just pushed past CSK to get top of the pops of IPL 2021. And we have Mark Butcher joining us right now in this little Criclytics Man vs. Machine review. We'll get Mark Butcher on as we speak because he got a lot of predictions right, and the smile on his face tells you more. We'll come to those in a bit. But you called Delhi Capitals right, more importantly. Just a hunch, or did you think that it was always coming?
No, I mean, it's a two-horse race and two very good horses. But I did wonder if it might be significant that that Delhi seemed to be a little bit on the up, and the CSK might well find themselves in a position whereby, because they've been there and done it so many times before, that they might have just taken their foot off the gas, knowing that they were definitely going to go through. And so, I just fancied, and the toss always helps as well, doesn't it? You end up chasing in one of these low-scoring games, and quite often the team chasing has a tiny little advantage on those types of decks. So, I'm not going to gloat too much.
All right. I mean, I like that. But let's, of course, deconstruct this match. At the end of the day, CSK found themselves 26 for none, and then that turned out to be 62 for 4, I think, in the ninth over it was. Now, at that point in time, how much did you think that CSK were aiming at? 160, 170? Or do you think MS Dhoni probably missed a trick there? Could have sent Jadeja up, left, right with Raidu, but he wanted to get some time in the middle, I'm guessing.
Yeah, potentially. I do think that sort of given that sort of that top heavy lineup, that served them particularly well. I just think sometimes you have to give the opposition a lot of credit. They managed to sort of strangle them through the back end. Raidu played brilliantly, but they didn't allow the likes of Faf and co to kind of get them away. Even though that the rate was good, it wasn't disastrous. It wasn't too heavy. And then a couple of decent spells towards the back end really held them down. So, look, again, it's difficult to take too much credit on these things. But one thing that you do know is that Delhi looked like finally they might well be good enough as a team in all types of different conditions, whether it's free scoring, whether it's low scoring games, to get themselves over the line for the first time. So, I mean, I think more focus on what Delhi have done and what they've been able to do, and the fact that they've brushed aside CSK, who most people would fancy above them, is hugely significant for them, I think.
It is indeed. And CSK, of course, face Punjab next, while Delhi take on RCB. And that'll be, I'm guessing, some more things to move and shake in the table. Let's, of course, get to the predictions. But before that, the fan goodie bag question that we put up before, and it was, how many runs will the CSK openers put on in this match? They got 28 in this match. So a couple of comments going close, but not close enough to win this goodie bag. I was going to say cigar, but technically you never know what's there in the goodie bag, so to speak. Right, before we come to the predictions, one more question that I had in mind. Now, there's a theme about this leg of the IPL, low scoring games, and we've seen pitches be tacky, especially Sharjah, which hosts 2 of the playoff games. Are we expecting low-scoring affairs going ahead?
I mean, I don't know. There's been a lot of traffic, obviously, on the venue so far, but you'd like to think that that the grounds might have managed just to hold back a couple of good surfaces for the playoffs. That would certainly make it more of a spectacle. You have to do everything you can, given the circumstances with crowds, etc., to try and make the games as exciting as possible. Listen, the teams involved in them don't care as long as they're in it and have a chance to go on and win the trophy. But I guess what you don't want is to have tired surfaces right the way through and up to the final, because then it can be a bit of a lottery in terms of the toss, etc.
Yeah, that does play a part, and MS Dhoni has the luck of the coin. So let's see if that continues with CSK. Well, we'll unravel the predictions right now, because I might have given it away in terms of my introduction earlier, because Mark Butcher here came away with a sweet 2-0 win against Criclytics Robot, who's just in hiding right now. We can't find him. But I mean, if any of my office mates are watching this, then let us know in the comments below where the robot is. But terms of batsmen, you went for Shikhar Dhawan. He was nearly there. He threw it away, some would say. Amity Rayudu with 55. But
Yeah.
was it one of those innings of Shikhar Dhawan you felt that he could have actually taken the game away?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, listen, you have to give an enormous amount of credit to Shimron Hetmeyer, as well as Axar Patel, not just for hanging in there, but also the job that he did with the ball in the first half to keep CSK down to a very gettable target.
Were you surprised that Ashwin was promoted ahead of him? Sorry, Butch.
What ahead of
Hetmeyer.
Hetmeyer? Well, I mean, listen, it doesn't matter, does it? It worked. But potentially they maybe didn't back Hetmeyer in terms of his abilities towards the death or against spin. They might have decided that Ashwin was ready to go in that regard. But in the end, it doesn't matter. At the end of it, the man held his nerve and saw them home with a really cool knock. So, look, at the moment, everything that Ponting and Delhi are doing is paying off for them. And like I said, it shows great nerve, great courage, great credentials to have overtaken CSK at this late stage in the tournament.
Yeah, Rishabh Pant will be a happy man on his birthday, of course. So 1 year wiser, another point in the bag in terms of the IPL. What can get better is, of course, for Butch right now, because this is where he took the lead against the machine, went 1-0, and he called right Shardul Thakur. There were plenty of performances which stood out, but his 2 for 13 of 4 overs at a critical junction of the game, you got to say, hats off to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
and to you.
And to me, yes. Don't forget me. But he very nearly pulled it off, didn't he? They probably had no right to win with what, I don't know, just beyond halfway in terms of the chase. But yeah, held back, wasn't he? Held back until the sort of like the third, fourth, fifth bowling change, and very nearly managed to pull it out of the bag. I mean, 2 for 13 from 4 are pretty good figures, whether you win the game or not.
Butch, this is just me thinking out loud. Hardik Pandya hasn't bowled much. The World T20 is around the corner. Shardul Thakur, you fancy him if you're Virat Kohli and that think tank?
He's one of those cricketers that I'm guessing outside of India, probably doesn't create that much of a stir, but he doesn't seem to let whoever is captain down. Well, it's Kohli always, isn't it? In terms of his performances in England in the Test matches, he was very instrumental in making sure that India came out on top in the one-day leg of England's tour back in February. And he just, again, without being sort of like a superstar, perhaps to the rest of the world, whenever he plays for India, he performs in a big way, in an eye-catching way, in roles that are not easy. Sorry. It's all very well and good going out there at the top of the order and smashing runs, and it's all very well and good, bowling certain overs during the course of a match. But he's generally in the game when the game is at its toughest, when the pressure is at its highest, and more often than not, he delivers.
Yeah, we saw that against England in the T20 internationals earlier this year. So let's see if he comes good for India. That's a good sign. You went 1-0 up and you doubled your lead with, of course, the winner in terms of calling the result, right? You called Delhi. And it comes back to my initial question, another game, another chase. What can this team not do at the moment? Because RCB play them next and Virat would be looking at them saying, you know what? I mean, how do we beat you lot?
Yeah, that's a great contest, isn't it? And I'm not entirely sure. I'm not exactly sure. So they qualified. Both teams have qualified. I don't think there's a great deal that RCB have to hope that CSK lose and that then the run rates and everything match up. So it's quite a big game for RCB. And again, one whereby they might be thinking to themselves, we really need to lay down something of a mark, and we really need to have the second bite of the cherry in the playoffs. But the one thing at the moment that you don't want to face in a match where you feel like you have to win is Delhi, because, as I've said, fast scoring, low scoring, high scoring, it doesn't seem to matter to them. Bat first, chase, they're on a bit of a high right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially if Hetmeyer comes after Ashwin a bat, then you certainly have a long tail indeed. And just before we let you go, no question at all, but because you're in such good soothsayer form, if you have to pick a winner for the IPL right now, 3 teams who qualified. Can you just give us an early insight of who might be lifting that crown?
Oh man, why do you have to ask? We go right the way back to the beginning, and I said this year was going to be RCB's year. So, but look, as long as as long as it's not Chennai, and as long as it's not Mumbai, where everyone's a winner, right? So, Delhi look very, very good, and RCB are exactly where they want to be. They are in the playoffs, and all things are still possible for them.
Yep, you never know, and certainly Bangalore fans would be happy with that, to subscribe for that. Just giving you another reason to subscribe, because Butch is throwing in RCB as the winners. But we'll catch Butch, of course, for the RIMI game, which is a Tuesday night thriller by itself. And you can check out that preview, which will be up in about an hour or so on the YouTube channel. Until then, thanks for watching. And of course, Delhi fans, keep smiling like RCB fans are right now. Cheers.